welcome to this very first video on my YouTube channel. My name is Lizanne and I'm a big Eurovision fan, so today I want to talk Eurovision. So specifically today I want to talk about the first semi-final of Eurovision 2023. It's been almost 2 weeks. The dust has settled. We've all been able to calm down a little, and I would like to do a small review of the semi-final. Because honestly, it was a super good semi-final. I don't think we've seen one this good, at least since 2022, but maybe this was even better in 2022. I guess time will tell in that sense. So in this video, I want to go through all the 15 songs, all the 15 performances. I will talk about what I liked. I will talk about the surprises in terms of the results. And any other thoughts that pop up in my mind. So let's do this. So first we start with Norway, and honestly Queen of Kings has been one of my favorite songs since the beginning of the season. It hasn't really dropped down in my top 37, and I had big expectations of Alessandra, because I really loved the performance at the national selection. I think unfortunately the performance at the national selection was better than it was at Eurovision, especially in the semi-final. Alessandra wasn't vocally at her best, and I also missed a little bit of spark in her eyes, a little bit of more energy I would have loved to see from her. I would have also loved the performance to be like a bit stronger in terms of camera work and lighting, and perhaps, we've seen a few stares like in some performances this year, but I actually think that I would have loved to see Alessandra come down from the stairs like a queen in the beginning of the performance. I think that would have given something extra to it. But yeah, those are like my critique parts. But honestly, I love this song. I love Alessandra. I still love what they delivered on the stage. I love her styling. This song is just a banger, and I'm no surprise that she made it. I'm also not surprised that she was only in the 6th place, since she started the show, and since she wasn't at her best. I think that 6th place was more or less fair in here. So let's move on to Malta. I must say Malta hasn't always been my favorite song. But I was pleasantly surprised when we watched the semi-final at how good the performance looked. Wasn't necessarily a really big fan of the different acts that they were doing. To me, it was going a little bit too slow. I wanted a bit more energy. But his dancing during the chorus was super cute, and especially the last part of the song, from the bridge until the last chorus. I think it was so well done. It looked so good. I was honestly flabbergasted when I saw it, because I didn't expect to like it that much. So yeah, I thought after seeing that performance that they might have overshadowed Norway, for me at least, a little bit. And I really thought that perhaps Malta still has a chance, because before I counted out Malta completely. I saw the performance like, oh, well, maybe they will be borderline. And then I saw the results, and I saw that they got last place with 3 points, and I really don't know what that was. I really don't know how it's possible that they received only 3 points. I was flabbergasted, and I don't think that they deserved this. And that was one of the biggest surprises for me when I saw the results, to be honest. Really didn't cross my mind that would happen. Next up is Serbia. I really loved Serbia before we saw the Eurovision performance. It probably was in my top 10 too. I thought that what I saw in the national selection was magical. I really like Luke. I love the song. It has something very special to it. Unfortunately, during Eurovision, the performance that they give, it kind of lost some of its magic for me. I can't pinpoint exactly what it is. I think part of it is the camera work that I didn't like. I thought there were way too many wide shots. I thought it was a bit too static. There wasn't too much happening. I didn't love it as much as I used to. And I honestly wasn't surprised when I saw the results that Serbia was actually the borderline qualifier this year. We kind of, after seeing the performance in the Eurovision run, I was really afraid that he wouldn't make it. But I am happy in the end that he made it. I really like Luke. I like the song still. I think he's a great person. I think he's extremely creative, and I think it deserved a place in the final. But for me, it doesn't have the magic that it had before. Not as good as I expected, but I know that a lot of you guys, a lot of fans loved it. So, you know, it's really my problem and not yours. Next up is Latvia. Honestly, if there was one country this year I was rooting for to qualify, it was Latvia. And it's quite surprising because Latvia wasn't really on my radar for a long time. But then suddenly it just catched me, and when I saw it in the semi-final, it was so incredibly good. It felt so magical. It just felt completely right. And after Norway, Malta, and Serbia, which is all quite overwhelming, I thought Latvia was a really nice breath of fresh air in between. And I thought they might have a small chance of making it. And in the end, you know, they got into the 11th place. I'm happy that they were on the border, that at least they were almost there, not that they received the same treatment as Malta did. But I'm still really sad that it didn't make it. I thought the performance was good, the lighting was good, the camera work was good, the singer was charismatic. I really liked his styling. I liked everything about it. I had goosebumps watching it. Yeah, it's really too bad, to be honest, that he didn't make it, or that they didn't make it. I'm sorry. But it is the way it is, right? Next up is Portugal. So, you know, talking about charisma, this woman probably was the most charismatic one of the whole year. It was never my favorite song, but Mimi Cat just carries it. Mimi Cat makes it so enjoyable to watch the whole performance. You know, I still wish that they brought the couch. I think it would have been nice to have the couch. I don't think I'm the only one who thinks that too. But you know, overall, with what they had, I think they had great camera work, great ease of lighting. I liked her outfit. Her charisma is out of this world. Her voice is great. You know, I think a very deserving finalist. It was very nice to have this song in a mix of the grand final. I was a bit surprised that she made it. I really thought that it wouldn't happen, that Latvia would take their spot, but in the end, you know, she made it, and I'm really, really happy that she did. And also comfortably, 9th place with 74 points. I would say that was comfortably. So, well done. So, we move on to Ireland. Was it terrible? No. Was it amazing? Definitely also not. I think this year was specifically, or like very, very tough. I think it was a year full of quality, especially in the first semi-final. So I don't think this had any chance to really move on to the final, and I don't think it should have. I personally never liked his voice a lot, and I don't think he's very charismatic, but that's just maybe me. I really wish that during the performance they would have hyped up the crowd a bit more, because I feel like this song needs crowd interaction, and I feel like there was barely any crowd interaction. There was not like you just wish sometimes he would be like, come on, or sing it with me. Like something like this, I think, would have given the performance a bit more like, yeah, I don't think it would have mattered that much in the end for the result, but performance-wise, I would have liked that. Yeah, let's move on. Let's move on to Croatia. Croatia was the biggest surprise of the evening for me. From the beginning of when they were chosen, I was pretty sure that they would qualify until I saw the performance in the semi-final. And you see the performance among all the other performances. And when I saw that, I was like, there's no way anyone is going to vote for this. No way. It just looked cheaper than the rest. It just looked like, I don't know how to properly explain it, but it just felt weird among the other songs. And I thought that people wouldn't catch it. They wouldn't pick up their phones and vote for it. And then they were the first ones to be called out to qualify. So I guess I turned a little bit delusional during the show. But honestly, the performance started off quite badly, and that's also why I thought, ouch. With these type of performances, I do feel like it needs to be like perfectly executed. But it was enough. It was enough, and honestly, I think it is a fun song. I've been really enjoying it from the beginning. That they won a national selection. I applaud them for the creativity and for, they've made me laugh a lot of times. So I think they were really fun. But I didn't really need this in my final, to be honest. I think I would have been perfectly fine to put Latvia instead of Croatia. But, it is the way it is. I'm happy, though, that Croatia was back in the final after several years. I think that was a really nice thing to have. So in that sense, I am happy. And yeah, I still overall think it was fun, but there were other ones that I preferred personally. Next up is Switzerland, which is probably the biggest grower of the year for me. Because when the song was released, I didn't really care for it that much. And then I saw the performance and I was honestly mesmerized from beginning to end. His voice is amazing. His styling was great. I liked the staging concept. Everything looked very sleek. Camera work was on point. And to be honest, all but respect for him. He's quite a young artist and he's on point all the time. He's confident and just very consistent at this young age already. So I applaud him for this, and I'm very, very happy that Switzerland was a solid qualifier in the 7th place. I think that's great. So well done to Switzerland. Up next is another amazing performance from Israel. This was another big grower for me because I don't necessarily love the Unicorn song, but in terms of performance, this was pop perfection. I don't think I have a lot of other things to say about this. Her confidence, her charisma, her styling, the dancing, I think everything was pitch perfect, on point. Even her voice is quite decent. So yeah, I think this was a very well-deserved 3rd place in the semi-final. Then we move on to Moldova. I was honestly afraid for Moldova because it was sandwiched between Israel and Sweden. I always thought they would qualify, to be honest, because it just seems like a song that would qualify, and I expected them to deliver a good performance. But when I saw the semi-final, I was a bit afraid. But therefore also super surprised that when I saw the results that they actually managed to get into 5th place. So they were very comfortable qualifiers. And I think, props to Moldova. They always bring it to Eurovision. I think, you know, the song is not somewhere near the top for me, but it is a really nice addition to this lineup that we had this year. And, you know, I think the reason why I did was because it was a bit different than everything else that we had this year. So, yeah, well done to Moldova. Let's move on to Sweden. God, I feel like a lot has been said about this already. Something about this entry in particular is that Loreen just feels like she's from a different world. She looks like she's in a state of meditation, like throughout the whole time. And it's something that I kind of admire about her. You know, the song is maybe not the most creative or innovative. I think we've heard songs like this before, and indeed, some people are saying, you know, if someone else would have sang this song, it wouldn't have won. And I think they're right, but I don't think it's because of Loreen's fame. I think it's because Loreen has something special, and I can't put my finger onto it, what exactly it is about her, but there is something about her as a performer that is so catching, that is so intriguing, that I feel like any song that she would sing would still feel special. You know, I think she's on another level, and I think it was obviously no surprise any of the results in the semi-final for Sweden. And I think she deserved what she got, really. I think she's great, and I thought she was super hilarious during the press conference afterwards. I really did not expect her to be like that. I didn't really know anything about her. I didn't really watch interviews with her before, and then I saw the press conference, and she was like super funny. Yeah, no, I really like her, and she deserved everything that she got in a positive way. Let's move on to Azerbaijan. I love the intro of the performance. I thought it looked really good. But as soon as they start singing, you know, it really loses the power for me. I do love the color scheme that they use, like the purple, green, yellowish. And I like their outfits. They just looked great. The aesthetics looked great. But I'm not a big fan of the song necessarily. There's a nice part of the song, but it comes very late. And I don't really like it when they sing together. Like, there's these moments where they sing together, but they don't really harmonize. They just sing the same way, and it just, yeah, it just doesn't sound as great as it should, in my opinion. But, you know, I do feel like they can be very proud of what they put here. I think with the song that they have, they did what they could. It looked great. They sounded overall great. But I'm not surprised that they didn't make it. Maybe a bit surprised that they got such little points. But, yeah, not surprised that they didn't make it. The song just wasn't strong enough for that at all. Let's move on to Czechia. This is easily probably my favorite song of the year, and I was very, very afraid that you know, the staging wouldn't be great, and that it wouldn't sound great, and that in the end the package wouldn't be so good. But they really, really surprised me. I think the performance was done really well, so I want to give props to Czechia and to Vesna for bringing this performance, and for, you know, it was really good. Especially the chorus. The chorus is heavenly. I think it's one of the best choruses that we've had in Eurovision, at least according to my taste. And I also think that this chorus was the most impactful part of their performance every time. Especially like the second chorus, when they all walk in a line over the catwalk, giving goosebumps. It just looks really, really good. And the same goes for the part that they've used in the recap. I thought that was a really good part to use in the recap. It just looks so powerful with these women on stage and with that great song. Yeah, what I loved specifically is the performance was quite choreographed, or I don't know how do you properly pronounce that in English, but everything was very rehearsed. And you could see that. So what I loved at the end, during the last chorus, that they kind of, you know, were making the performance a bit looser, if you can call it like that, by just running around and walking around on the stage and hyping the crowd a little. I thought that was a really nice addition to have after having this whole rehearsed performance, to just then, you know, make it a bit more freer. I don't know if any of these English words that I'm saying make any sense, to be honest, but whatever. Hopefully you get what I mean. I was also pleasantly surprised by the fact that they got fourth in the semifinal. I really, I thought they would make it, but I wasn't sure whether people would massively vote for it. But yeah, I'm very happy that they did, and I think actually fourth in the semifinal is exactly where they should have been. I think it was great, so props to Czechia, and let's see what they bring us next year, because this was great. We're almost there. We're gonna go to the Netherlands, my home country. So let me just start by saying that I think they did absolutely everything they could do with the song that they had. I think the performance looked really pretty, and I think they sounded fine. I want to give props to them for, you know, being able to keep it together after all the backlash that they have received, because I bet that wasn't easy. So I was also happily surprised that they sounded good. So good job for that. I also love the styling. But to be honest, I think there's two things that killed it here. One is the fact that they're performing right before Finland, which is, I don't think anyone wants to do that. But I think more importantly is this fact that the song is just not so strong. The song is not very memorable, and especially after they changed it, I think it lost a bit of its power and it got even less memorable for people. And I think that's the reason why it was just left out. 7 points is a bit surprising. I didn't think they would get this little. But I guess it just shows how the quality that was in the semifinal here. And they just weren't able to match up with that. So yeah, I think overall they can still be very proud what they put on stage. I think everything looked and sounded great, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. Last but definitely not least, as we say, Finland. I don't think there's a lot to say about this. I think this is the ultimate party song with absolute brilliant staging. I thought it was super fun. I think especially the first part of the performance is amazing in every way possible. Absolutely not surprised that this won televote. I think it was a great party song, and I think it got what it deserved in the semifinal. So yeah, well done to Finland, and to be honest, well done to all of the countries in here. I think I was honestly, after last year, where I was very disappointed with all of the performances, I watched this semifinal and I was over the moon with the quality. Over the moon with the quality of the performances, the camera work, everything just looks so good. So I'm overall so happy with the semifinal. Even, you know, I might have critiques sometimes, but, you know, I have enjoyed every single performance. So well done to everyone. And with this, I want to end my very first video on YouTube. So I will be back. I will be back to talk about semifinal 2, and I will be back to talk about the grand final, and I will also be back to share my official top 37 of this year. So stay tuned for that. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment if you have any thoughts on what I've said, and I will see you next time.